Hello and welcome to New Europe Studios in Place Jourdan in Brussels. I am Dan Alexe. With us today, Mrs. Hande Özsan Bozatli, President of the Assembly of European Regions, and His Royal Highness Prince Laurent, brother of the King of Belgium, Philip. Welcome. You are a man who is very much involved in green energy, in énergie renouvelable. You are interested in animal welfare and ecology. And you are inaugurated now the House of European Regions in Brussels. This is the first time that very many European regions will benefit from a headquarters in the capital of Europe. We understand that this is called a greenhouse. In what way, Monseigneur, is it green?
Well, about 8 years ago, I wanted to make a huge challenge because, as you know, you have a lot of old buildings, like in most of the European capital, old buildings who are producing a lot of pollution.
And leaking energy, losing energy,
yes,
leaking
energy. So I wanted to make sure that as a proof, as a test, we could make sure that all building could be as clean as a very economical and new building.
With isolation?
Yes, with isolation, with all kinds of renewable technology. This is a concept that I have been developing, and we try to have people to understand, to see the house, to understand, to feel the house, so that they can have a better feeling how to apply this hybridation of renewable technology concept to their houses and home, public buildings and private buildings. We are extremely happy to have the European now headquarters of a region of European region headquarters in Brussels, because now this concept will be much better known throughout Europe, and we will work together, the President and I, to make sure that this concept is spread into not only, I would say, the close and small Europe, but the broader Europe too. And I think that today the concept of region is strongly attached in the mind of people. And of course, you have countries, European countries, but in the countries you have people. People live in their house. Their house is located in a city. Their city is located in a region. And so the region is very important.
It is also a matter, I suppose, of legislation, because the state or the region should help such initiatives.
Yes, actually, when I started this initiative in Brussels 8 years ago, the legislation was not as far as today. But if I take an example of the geothermy in Brussels, capital of Europe, 8 years ago there was nothing related to geothermy. So it was a test, and we worked together with the public authority to make sure that this could happen. And so now it works very well, day and night, and the new tenant will be feeling renewable technology system day to day.
But coming back to the legislation, how can people be stimulated to do this? Because we understand that it is sometimes more expensive to isolate an old house than to build a new one.
Okay, you need to study the global footprint. Is it more expensive for the person, or is it globally more expensive? Because attached to the demolition of a building, you have a huge kind of pollution also. So that's one. Regarding the cultural heritage, we need to keep, we cannot break down all the old buildings in Turkey, the Yalı, for instance, we cannot break them down.
It is an old house, a historical house.
The Yale in Istanbul, you find Yales, and those houses are hundreds of years old.
The old house is on the river,
Yes.
on the.
So you cannot break them. So you need to find, because the small children, the Turkish small children, they would say, "Dad, Mom, how did our ancestor live?" So we need to keep our cultural heritage. In Italy, for instance, you have many thousands of old buildings dating from the Roman time, the Greeks' time. Can you imagine to break them down? No, we need to find a solution, and progressively we need to adapt this clean technology to these old buildings. This is my point where we will work together. This is very important.
We understand it is an old house.
This is an old house for Brussels. It's more than 120 years old, and actually it is working only with renewable technology. You don't have any coal, any gas, any fuel in the house. It's all working. Only electricity is coming from the grid. But we have choosing a green grid to get the energy. And also we produce, I think, 5 to 10% of the global electricity use of the house.
Mrs. Bozatli, have you visited the house?
Yes, I have visited the house, and indeed I was very much impressed when I saw the house. It was historical, it was beautiful, but it's a green building. So it's a great honor for us to move to the building and create the House of European Regions, which will also attract the European regions to Brussels. And this house has a symbolic place for us. It's a kind of bridge between the associations on energy and the European regions.
And this year you also celebrate 30 years since the creation of the Assembly of the European Regions.
That's right, and indeed it's very nice that it has coincided with the 30th year of the Assembly of European Regions. And there is one more topic that AER, the AER is very much concentrated on energy and climate change issues. We are one of the founding members of R20, which is Regions for Climate Change, and also we have taken part in projects like Regions for Green Growth. So we are heavily involved with the same issues.
Having a seat will help you more to attract regional stakeholders, you think, in Brussels?
Yes, it will indeed. We have already been able to show the house to some of our member regions, and they seem to be quite interested. And it will be also a good way to promote such a greenhouse, which will be good for the future of the world when we consider the climate change and the energy savings. And regions play an important role in this.
Let's jump to a different topic. You just issued a communiqué, a declaration concerning terrorism.
Yeah.
In what way the regions can be bothered with terrorism? What can you do about the subject?
Well, indeed, I would say I cannot imagine anybody who wouldn't be bothered with terrorism of any kind. Myself, coming from Istanbul, Turkey, from a difficult geography, and suffering too much from terrorism. When I first heard about the terrorism in Paris on January 7th, we were shocked. It was just in the center of Europe. And if terrorism is courage to be in the center of Europe, that's very meaningful. And it's the national authorities, regional authorities, NGOs, and stakeholders that should be together to act against terrorism. So we had a declaration on terrorism together with one of our executive board members, our vice president, Mr. Gayso. who is the former transport minister of France and who was really heavily engaged with Islamophobia and discrimination, homophobia, and on those issues, anti-Semitism. Regions play a great role in this because if the citizens are happy, if they have integrated well, there is no reason for them to have hatred to the others, to the society. So that's where we, the regional politicians, regional authorities, can play the major role to integrate those people with education, social system, equal opportunities, and economic development.
And of course, Belgium and especially the region of Brussels are very much concerned about terrorism and its social implications. There were attacks in Brussels last year at the Jewish Museum, and a great number of young Belgians born here of Moroccan or Maghrebian origin go to fight, and even converts, Belgians converted to Islam, go to fight in Syria and Iraq. I don't, Monseigneur, would you like to comment on this topic?
There is a lot of things to say about this. I think personally, having working with Muslim people, first of all, there is a lack of knowledge from our side to know the outside world. If we knew other communities much better, I think they would respect us much more. Like I said, having working with in some Muslim countries, I see that when you enter these countries, you need to convince them that you are not a conventional European person who wants to take their soil, their oil, their gas, but that you want to help them. So we should, I think personally, we should make sure that when we try to do business, when we try to have a relation, we should also do something for the country socially, because people see us like invaders, and this is not correct. So there is a huge lack of understanding of us. Secondly, from the Muslim part, again, having working with this country, I think that women can play a huge role, and it's only the women who will solve most of the tension.
But coming back to the fact that so many Belgians go to fight there, do you think it's a problem of the system of education? Is it a socio-cultural problem?
This is not my topic. You have a lot of people who are more, who have their topics in their core business. What I want to say to you, from what I feel, is we should do much more to give a secure future for the future generation. When our countries evolve in many different ways, where young people cannot see any future, I think when you have no more authority, I think that young people are looking to have someone who gives them authority.
Thank you for being with us, Monseigneur. Thank you, Madam. I am Dan Alexe. We had with us today Mrs. Hande Özsan Bozatli, President of the Assembly of the European Regions, and His Royal Highness, Prince Laurent of Belgium. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you.